Marianas Trench. Location of the Mariana Trench is in the western Pacific Ocean, about 200 kilometers east of the Mariana Islands. It is the deepest oceanic trench on Earth. It is crescent-shaped and measures about 2,550 kilometers in length and 69 kilometers in width. The maximum known depth is 10,984 meters at the southern end of a small slot-shaped valley in its floor known as the Challenger Deep. However, some unrepeated measurements place the deepest portion at 11,034 meters. If Mount Everest were hypothetically placed into the trench at this point, its peak would still be underwater by more than 2 kilometers. At the bottom of the trench, the water column above exerts a pressure of 1,086 bars, more than 1,071 times the standard atmospheric pressure at sea level. At this pressure, the density of water is increased by 4.96%. The temperature at the bottom is 1 to 4 degrees Celsius. In 2009, the Marianas Trench was established as a U.S. national monument. Monothalasmia have been found in the trench by Scripps Institution of Oceanography researchers at a record depth of 10.6 kilometers, 6.6 miles, below the sea surface. Data has also suggested that microbial life forms thrive within the trench. The Mariana Trench is named after the nearby Mariana Islands, which are named Las Marianas in honor of Spanish Queen Mariana of Austria, widow of Philip IV of Spain. The islands are part of the island arc that is formed on an overriding plate, called the Mariana Plate, also named for the islands, on the western side of the trench. Research history. The trench was first sounded during the Challenger expedition in 1875, using a weighted rope, which recorded a depth of 4,475 fathoms, 8,184 meters, 26,850 feet. In 1877, a map was published called Tiefenkarte des Großen Ozeans, Depth Map of the Great Ocean, by Petermann, which showed a Challenger Tief, Challenger Deep, at the location of that sounding. In 1899, USS Nero, a converted collier, recorded a depth of 5,269 fathoms, 9,636 meters, 31,614 feet. In 1951, Challenger 2 surveyed the trench using echo sounding, a much more precise and vastly easier way to measure depth than the sounding equipment and drag lines used in the original expedition. During this survey, the deepest part of the trench was recorded when the Challenger 2 measured a depth of 5,960 fathoms, 10,900 meters, 35,760 feet, at 11 degrees 19 N 142 degrees 15 E, known as the Challenger Deep. In 1957, the Soviet vessel Vityaz reported a depth of 11,034 meters, 36,201 feet, at a location dubbed the Mariana Hollow. In 1962, the surface ship MV Spencer F. Baird recorded a maximum depth of 10,915 meters, 35,810 feet, using precision depth gauges. In 1984, the Japanese survey vessel Takui collected data from the Mariana Trench using a narrow, multi-beam echo sounder. It reported a maximum depth of 10,924 meters, 35,840 feet, also reported as 10,920 meters. Remotely operated vehicle Kaiko reached the deepest area of the Mariana Trench and made the deepest diving record of 10,911 meters, 35,797 feet, on 24 March 1995. During surveys carried out between 1997 and 2001, a spot was found along the Mariana Trench that had depth similar to that of the Challenger Deep, possibly even deeper. It was discovered while scientists from the Hawaii Institute of Geophysics and Planetology were completing a survey around Guam. They used a sonar mapping system towed behind the research ship to conduct the survey. This new spot was named the HMRG, Hawaii Mapping Research Group, DEEP, after the group of scientists who discovered it. On 1 June 2009, mapping aboard the RV Kilo Moana, mothership of the Nereus vehicle, indicated a spot with a depth of 10,971 meters, 35,994 feet. The sonar mapping of the Challenger Deep was possible by its Simrad EM-120 sonar multibeam bathymetry system for deep water. The sonar system uses phase and amplitude bottom detection, with an accuracy of better than 0.2% of water depth across the entire swath, implying that the depth figure is accurate to plus or minus 22 meters, 72 feet. In 2011, it was announced at the American Geophysical Union Fall meeting that a U.S. Navy hydrographic ship equipped with a multi-beam echo sounder conducted a survey which mapped the entire trench to 100 meters, 330 feet, resolution. The mapping revealed the existence of 4 rocky outcrops thought to be former seamounts. The Mariana Trench is a site chosen by researchers at Washington University and the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in 2012 for a seismic survey to investigate the subsurface water cycle. Using both ocean bottom seismometers and hydrophones, the scientists are able to map structures as deep as 97 kilometers, 60 miles, beneath the surface. 4 manned descents and 3 unmanned descents have been achieved. The first was the manned descent by Swiss-designed, Italian-built, United States Navy-owned bathyscaphe Trieste, which reached the bottom at 1:06 p.m. on 23 January 1960, with Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard on board. Iron shot was used for ballast, with gasoline for buoyancy. The onboard systems indicated a depth of 11,521 meters, 37,800 feet, but this was later revised to 10,916 meters, 35,814 feet. The depth was estimated from a conversion of pressure measured and calculations based on the water density from sea surface to seabed. This was followed by the unmanned ROVs Kike in 1996 and Nerus in 2009. The first 3 expeditions directly measured very similar depths of 10,902 to 10,916 meters, 35,768 to 35,814 feet. The fourth was made by Canadian film director James Cameron on 26 March 2012. He reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench in the submersible vessel Deep Sea Challenger, diving to a depth of 10,908 meters, 35,787 feet. In July 2015, members of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Oregon State University, and the Coast Guard submerged a hydrophone into the deepest part of the Mariana Trench, the Challenger Deep, never having previously deployed one past a mile. The titanium-shelled hydrophone was designed to withstand the immense pressure 7 miles under. Although researchers were unable to retrieve the hydrophone until November, the data capacity was full within the first 23 days. After months of analyzing the sounds, the experts were surprised to pick up natural sounds like earthquakes, a typhoon and baleen whales along with man-made sounds such as boats. Due to the mission's success, the researchers announced plans to deploy a second hydrophone in 2017 for an extended period of time. Victor Vescovo achieved a new record descent to 10,928 meters, 35,853 feet, on 28 April 2019 using the DSV limiting factor, a Triton 36,000 halves model manufactured by Florida-based Triton Submarines. He dived 4 times between 28 April and 5 May 2019, becoming the first person to dive into Challenger Deep more than once. On 8 May 2020, a joint project between the Russian shipbuilders, scientific teams of the Russian Academy of Sciences with the support of the Russian Foundation for Advanced Research Projects and the Pacific Fleet submerged the autonomous underwater vehicle Vityaz-D to the bottom of the Mariana Trench at a depth of 10,028 meters, 32,900 feet. Vityaz-D is the first underwater vehicle to operate autonomously at the extreme depths of the Mariana Trench. The duration of the mission, excluding diving and surfacing, was more than 3 hours. On 10 November 2020, the Chinese submersible Fenduji reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench at a depth of 10,909 meters, 35,791 feet. The expedition conducted in 1960 claimed to have observed, with great surprise because of the high pressure, large creatures living at the bottom, such as a flatfish about 30 centimeters, 12 in, long, and shrimp. According to Picard, the bottom appeared light and clear, a waste of firm diatomaceous ooze. Many marine biologists are now skeptical of the supposed sighting of the flatfish, and it is suggested that the creature may instead have been a sea cucumber. During the second expedition, the unmanned vehicle kite collected mud samples from the seabed. Tiny organisms were found to be living in those samples. In July 2011, a research expedition deployed untethered landers, called dropcams, equipped with digital video cameras and lights to explore this region of the deep sea. Among many other living organisms, some gigantic single-celled amoebas with a size of more than 10 centimeters, 4 in, belonging to the class of Monothalamea, were observed. Monothalamea are noteworthy for their size, their extreme abundance on the seafloor and their role as hosts for a variety of organisms. In December 2014, a new species of snailfish was discovered at a depth of 8,145 meters, 26,722 feet, breaking the previous record for the deepest living fish seen on video. During the 2014 expedition, several new species were filmed, including huge amphipods known as supergiants. Deep-sea gigantism is the process where species grow larger than their shallow water relatives.
We wish that you learned something new. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and click like. We'll be appreciated if you share it too.